The most famous polo shirt in America was someone else's idea. Ralph Lauren added a horse in 1972. René Lacoste designed the piqué tennis shirt in 1933, the L.12.12, the one he copied. Older men know the history. They trust 7 brands more than the pony. You have worn the pony, probably for years. You paid a little more every season. You told yourself it was worth it, and somewhere along the way you noticed. The piqué got thinner. You could see light through it. The collar that used to stand now curls after 3 washes. The side seams pull and the hem rides up. Little things, but you notice them because you remember when the brand did not do that. The shirt got slimmer, the price got higher, and the horse stayed exactly the same size. Maybe you bought one recently, held it up to the window, and saw your hand through it. That was not your imagination. That was the cost cutting you paid extra for. That is the part they never mention. The premium does not ride on the cotton, it rides on the embroidery. None of this means Ralph Lauren is junk. A mainline RL Polo is a decent shirt, but you did not get a worse deal because you have bad taste. You got it because the brand learned that the horse sells the shirt, so the shirt could quietly get cheaper while the horse stayed the same. An older man who has bought polos for 40 years feels that drift in his hands. The cloth used to have weight, now it has a logo. Let me be fair before I am blunt. Ralph Lauren built one of the great American-style empires. He took a French tennis shirt and made it the uniform of a whole country. That is a real achievement, and the men who own a closet full of them are not fools. But he did not invent the shirt, he branded one, and the men who read the fabric instead of the logo have always known where the real polos come from. Here they are. Number 1. Lacoste, the original. In 1933, the French tennis champion René Lacoste partnered with the knitwear man André Gillier. Together they produced a shirt called the L.12.12. Short sleeves, a soft breathable cotton knit Lacoste called petit piqué, and a ribbed collar that stood on its own, and a small crocodile on the chest, the nickname Lacoste earned on the court for his tenacity. He sketched the idea in the 1920s and wore it on court himself, years before anyone sold one. That shirt is the Polo. Everything that came after, horse included, is a copy of it. So when a man tells you the pony is the classic, he has the history backwards by 40 years. Ralph Lauren grew up admiring the piqué Lacoste, then he released his own in 1972 with a horse where the crocodile sat. The shirt was not new, the marketing was. Now, I read the fabric on every brand, so I will give you the honest nuance. The modern L.12.12 is not the tank the vintage one was. Lacoste also sells a light version spun down to around 165 grams a square meter. And the classic petit piqué, while heavier, is not the dense slab it used to be. I will not pretend otherwise. But the bones are still right. The petit piqué has a texture and a recovery a flat knit never gets. Piqué is a waffle-textured knit, and that structure is what lets a polo breathe and bounce back instead of clinging and sagging. The original was engineered for a man sweating through 5 sets in the sun. That is a higher bar than looking good at brunch. The collar is properly ribbed and holds its shape. The buttons sit clean. At around $110, you're in the same neighborhood as the pony. The difference is what you are buying. One is the invention, the other is the imitation with better marketing. Lacoste is still run as a serious clothing house, not a logo factory. The classic fit keeps the longer back tail of the original, a small thing that copies often drop. Buy the classic petit piqué, not the lightest line, and you have the genuine article at the imitation's price. The pony was never the polo, the crocodile was. One quick thing, and it's the one you've been asking for. You wanted the whole method in one place? Well, here it is. My new guide, build a $2,000 wardrobe for $200. Every rule from this channel, no logos, no fluff. The link is below. Go build it. Number 2, Fred Perry. Here is a spec the pony cannot match on its best day. The Fred Perry M12, the original twin-tipped shirt, is still made in England. Not the fashion line versions you see everywhere at $45. Those are made offshore to a price. I mean the genuine made in England M12, which runs around 110 pounds. That shirt is a heavier, denser piqué than the standard pony with a collar that has real spine. You can stand it up and it stays. Wash after wash the way a polo collar should. Fred Perry was a three-time Wimbledon champion, the best British player of his era. Like Lacoste, he built a shirt from the court, not from a mood board. The brand started in the 1940s with a sweatband, then the shirt, and the laurel wreath he wore became the logo. By the 1960s, it was the uniform of the British mods. Working men who cared intensely about clothes and could spot a fake across a pub. The twin tipping, those two thin lines around the collar and cuffs, is the original detail, copied 1,000 times since. On the English-made M12, that collar is knitted to hold a ridge and stay up through years of wear. Do the simple math. The fashion version is around $45 and lasts a couple of summers before the collar gives. The England-made original is more than double that, and it is still crisp a decade later. Cost per wear, the real one, is cheaper. This is the shirt older men reach for when they want the heft they remember. The fashion line M12 and the slim M3600 are fine shirts, but they are made offshore and cut thin for the trend. The England-made original is a different object in the hand. It is heavier yarn, a denser knit, and a collar with a backbone. Read the label. If it says Made in England, you are holding the real one. The piqué has weight and it beats the pony on density and origin both. If it does not, you are holding the fashion version, and the cotton tells on it fast. The men who know check the neck label before they check the price. That habit alone separates the buyer from the bought. The next one drops the logo entirely and charges the most of anything here for the privilege. Number 3. Sunspell. Now we get to the brand the insiders wear when they do not want a logo on their chest at all. Sunspell has made fine cotton in England since 1860. No crocodile, no horse, no twin tip, just the cotton doing the talking. Their Riviera polo is built from Sea Island cotton, one of the rarest long staple cottons on earth. Ordinary cotton has a staple around an inch long. Sea Island runs far longer, which means a smoother, stronger yarn with fewer loose ends to pill. That is why it feels like silk and stays smooth long after a cheap polo has turned fuzzy by summer's end. The Riviera polo is also the one James Bond wears on screen. The people who dress him chose the cloth nobody can identify, not the one with a logo. This is the shirt a certain kind of older man wears precisely because nobody can identify it across a room. He is not advertising. He knows what is against his skin, and that is the whole point. This is the older man who figured out that the highest form of the game is owning something excellent that nobody else can name. No emblem, no tax for the emblem, just the best cotton, cut clean. The English-made Sea Island Riviera polo runs around 325 pounds. Sea Island cotton is graded, traceable, and finite. Only a tiny amount is grown each year, and genuine Sea Island carries certification because counterfeiting it is so tempting. When a brand puts it in a shirt, the cloth itself is the luxury. There is no way to fake the hand of it. There is no horse on it to inflate the cost. Hold a Sunspell next to a pony of the same price, and the difference is not the logo. It is the hand of the cloth. One feels like a commodity knit with an emblem stitched on. The other feels like the cotton was the entire decision. The pony was never the polo. With Sunspell, the polo is the cloth and nothing else. That is nearly the most expensive shirt on this list, and the only logo on it is the one you cannot see. The next one is older still, by almost a century, and the royal household buys it. Number 4. John Smedley. I will give you the verdict first, then the proof. This is the connoisseur's polo. It comes from the oldest knitwear factory in the world, and once you own one, the cheap stuff feels like cardboard. Smedley has run Leah Mills in Derbyshire since 1784. Read that year again. They were spinning fine cotton before the United States had a constitution, and they are still doing it on the same site today. They hold a royal warrant, which in plain terms means the British royal household buys their knitwear, and that is not a thing you fake. You earn it over years of supply, and you can lose it. Smedley has held that standing for generations. Smedley's polos are a fine gauge knit, often in the same Sea Island cotton. They are built closer to a featherweight sweater than a sportswear shirt. The collar is knitted, fully fashioned, and finished by hand to a standard the high street simply does not pay for. Fully fashioned means each panel is knitted to its final shape on the machine, then linked together, not cut out of a big sheet of fabric with a blade. Cutting wastes cotton and leaves weak seams. Fashioning shapes the garment and locks it. It is slow, it is skilled, and almost nobody does it at scale anymore. Expect to spend somewhere from $275 to $350. Steep, but understand what you are getting. A shirt knitted panel by panel to shape, not cut from a roll and overlocked together. That is the difference between a garment that is made and a garment that is assembled. The pony is assembled. Smedley is made. An older man who has owned one for 15 years will tell you it outlived 3 drawers of everything else. That is the verdict, and the price stops looking steep. When you do the math by the decade, the next one brings the fight to Italy and puts it right up against the horse, dollar for dollar. $300 for a shirt that lasts 15 years is $20 a year. 3 $40 mall polos a year, gone limp by fall, costs more than that, and you have nothing to show for it. The man who buys once and keeps it understood the arithmetic a long time ago. Number 5. Gran Sasso. Let me put this one directly against the horse because that is the fairest way to see it. Take a standard Ralph Lauren polo, around $140. Now take a Gran Sasso piqué polo from Italy. Yes, the Gran Sasso costs more, figure $250 to $270. But walk through what each dollar buys. The pony gives you a serviceable cotton knit, made offshore to a cost, with plastic buttons and an embroidered horse carrying the prestige. Gran Sasso gives you a fine, substantial Italian piqué knitted in their own factory in the Abruzzo region of Italy. Mother of pearl buttons, real shell, not molded plastic, and a collar with proper structure. Gran Sasso has knitted in that same region since the 1950s, and it makes the cloth in-house rather than buying it in. That is rare. Most brands design a shirt and hand the making to a factory they never see. Gran Sasso is the factory. One of those shirts spent its budget on the horse. The other spent it on the shirt. That is the entire comparison. Gran Sasso is the quiet pick of men who buy Italian knitwear on purpose. They do not need a recognizable logo to feel the quality. Run your thumb across the buttons. Plastic is uniformly smooth and slightly warm. Mother of pearl is cool, faintly irregular, and catches light differently across its face. The pony uses the cheap one and charges you for the emblem. Gran Sasso uses the real one and lets the construction make the argument. Italy has made the finest knitwear in the world for generations, in family factories that pass the craft down. You're not paying for an Italian flag on a label. You're paying for people who have knitted cotton their whole lives. Same category, opposite priorities. With Gran Sasso, the polo is the knit and the shell, and the only thing missing is the logo you were overpaying for. The next one drops the heritage prices entirely and answers the pony in plain American heavyweight cotton. Number 6. Buck Mason. Here is the question that decides everything in this category. What actually makes a polo feel substantial in your hand? It is not the logo. It is the weight and the structure of the knit. Buck Mason is the American brand built around exactly that idea. They made their name on heavyweight cotton basics. Their cotton tees run a genuinely heavy 310 grams a square meter, the kind of cloth that hangs straight and lasts. Most mall tees are half that weight, which is why they go thin and shapeless in a season. Buck Mason brings the same heavyweight philosophy to its knit polos. The Avalon runs around $128. The brand started in Venice, California, and built its whole identity on substantial cloth instead of loud branding. This is the honest American answer to the pony. No imported prestige, no inflated heritage story. A substantial cotton polo, modern in cut, made well, priced near the horse, spending the money on the cloth instead of the chest. For the man who finds the European heritage prices steep but refuses to go back to a thin mall knit, this is the middle path. You do not have to spend $300 in England or $30 in Japan. Around $125 gets you a thick, well-made American polo with real heft. It sits right next to the pony on price and gives you more shirt for it. You can feel where the money went the moment you pick it up. It has heft and recovery, and it does not go limp and transparent by July. The collar is sewn to stand rather than flop, and the cotton has a body you can feel right through the hanger. This is the brand for the man who does not want to learn the history of a Derbyshire mill. He just wants a thick, honest polo that lasts, made by people who care about cloth. That is what a polo is supposed to do, and it is exactly what the thinned-out ponies stopped doing somewhere along the way. The last one costs less than a movie ticket and a popcorn, and it breaks the whole spell. Number 7. Uniqlo, and now the one that makes the whole pricing game look ridiculous. Here is a spec to sit with. Uniqlo sells cotton piqué polos for around $30, and they use Supima cotton. That is the American long staple grade, the same fiber family the premium brands charge a fortune to mention. $30 for genuinely good long staple cotton, a clean piqué knit, and a collar that holds up far better than it has any right to. Buy 2 or 3, wear them hard. When one finally fades after a few years, you replace it for $30 and you are still hundreds ahead of a single pony. Now, I will be straight with you. This is not John Smedley. The finishing is machine standard. The collar will not outlive a decade, and you are not getting hand-linked anything. But that is not the point of Uniqlo. The point is this. The pony wants you to believe that good cotton requires a horse and a $140 price. Uniqlo proves you can put genuinely good long staple cotton on a man's back for $30. Supima is the trademarked American grade of long staple Pima cotton, grown under a strict standard. Only a small fraction of the world's cotton qualifies. The premium houses name drop it on $100 shirts. Uniqlo puts it on a $30 one and does not make a fuss. Once an older man sees that, the spell breaks. He stops paying the emblem tax for good. Good cotton was never rare. The horse just made you think it was. He buys the Supima Polo for every day. The yard, the errands, the cookout. He saves the Smedley and the Sunspell for when it counts. He never wonders again why the pony cost 4 times as much for thinner cloth. That is a man who has done the math and stopped paying the emblem tax for good. The pony was never the Polo. A $30 Supima just proved it. That is the value champion. It does not beat the heritage names on quality. It beats the pony on honesty, and that is the only contest that matters here. So there they are. 7 brands and one running truth between them. The Polo's quality lives in the parts the horse never talks about. The weight and recovery of the piqué, the grade and staple length of the cotton, the structure of the collar, shell buttons over plastic, and where the thing was actually made. Ralph Lauren made the Polo famous, and that legacy is real. But it branded an invention it did not create, and it charges you for the embroidery, not the cloth. The men who read the fabric figured that out a long time ago. They are the ones who check the neck label before the price, who run a thumb over the buttons. Who knows Sea Island from Upland by Feel? They were never paying for a horse, they were paying for cloth, and they bought it from the men who actually make it. Now you have too. You will never look at an embroidered chest the same way again, and your closet will be better and cheaper for it. And the guide so many of you asked for is finally here. Build a $2,000 wardrobe for $200. Every rule from this channel in one place, linked below. I'm Bill. I read the piqué, not the pony. If this one landed, watch the one on the designer Polo brand's Robbing You Blind. That's at 170,000 views. After that, the men's clothing brand's Robbing You Blind at 370,000 views. That is where this whole read the garment method started. Subscribe. This channel reads the piqué, not the pony.